We are back, Peanut Gallery. We were almost not going to cover this, but obviously the cards were too good not to. Let's talk about Castle Attack.
All right, this is all going to be in one shot, so... Tiger Hype.
Sorry, I had a drink. Anyway.
Take it away, and what did we learn on number one?
So, the first match was the United Empire, Will Ospreay, the Great Okan, and Jeff Cobb, versus Hiroshi Tanahashi and Tenkozi, which is Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima, pardon.
Man. Did
So
the Great Okan look great in that match?
Well, the Great Okan looks great in every match, and we'll talk about this later. A person who did not look good in this match was Will Ospreay.
Oh God, no.
And this is
He was train wreck both nights.
No, I thought the second night he was much better.
Oh, okay.
But this first night, man, he was slipping.
Yeah.
There was hesitation that I was not expecting from Ospreay. I don't know why.
I don't know.
He had his arm really heavily taped, so maybe he wasn't feeling 100%. But it was an Os cutter on Tenzan to win the match.
Okay.
So the United Kingdom won. And that was the one thing that we both said. It was like, man, Ospreay's off. He was slipping all over the place.
Great Okan looked amazing.
Right, and Jeff Cobb always looks great. Hiroshi Tanahashi, I think even if when he dies, they're still going to book him in matches and he'll still pull off good matches.
Anyways, match number 2.
Match number 2 was YOSHI-HASHI and Tanga Loa.
Not a lot to talk about here.
It was a fun little singles match.
Yeah.
You don't see Gorillas of Destiny in singles matches, which is what I thought was odd.
Yeah, but let's talk about this with the other match, because these matches were pretty much
Right.
Tanga quick.
Right, Tanga Loa did win with a sit-out tombstone, and then Tonga came out with a post-match attack. Hirooki Goto ran out to save his partner because the next night they had a tag team title match, right? Excuse me. So that match started immediately. No entrances, no nothing. And this match was much better.
Yeah.
And it was a GTR for Hirooki Goto to win, which I thought was actually kind of surprising. And, I thought this was actually a fairly...
Increase some of that tension there.
Yeah, no, it was a very good match. Our next match, it was a YTR-style strap match for the Provisional KOPW.
This one was so much fun.
This one's really good. The KOPW 2021 trophy, it was Toru Yano defending against Chase Owens. And basically what you had to do was you were strapped to your opponent and you had to remove the turnbuckle pads.
The one thing that I remember from this match is when Chase Owens taped Toru Yano's hands into a fist so that he couldn't take it off.
Right. It was very smart. This match was actually wrestled really well.
It was.
Despite somewhat the silliness to it, I thought overall this was a good match.
It was.
Actually, this was a great match. What am I thinking?
Yeah,
I was invested. I couldn't get my eyes away from it. It was just
That was the first match tonight where I couldn't get my eyes away from
right.
it.
And Toru Yano did win, but Chase Owens did not look bad. This is the kind of stuff, honestly, that will somewhat bring the Provisional KOPW trophy to a somewhat sillier prominence, but I think there's something there, something for everybody.
Yeah.
And with New Japan, this kind of silliness is never a bad thing.
No.
Obviously, Toru Yano's introduction continues to get longer. I think I poured a drink faster than Toru Yano's introduction. I kind of wish they didn't do it in Japanese because I would love to know what they're saying. But it was a really fun match. I would say for night 1, if you were gonna look back at a match, this was the match I would watch. The next one was Tomohiro Ishii and Jay White.
Yeah.
This match was unfucking believable. This was a
great match.
This was a great match. These two have great chemistry. A really nice story about Ishii's rib injury. The entire time.
Yeah.
So great.
It was.
And it was a Blade Runner for Jay White to win. Jay White needed this.
Yes, he did.
He needed the win. It was a great story, paced very nicely, and it was just a great match. And our final match for night number 1, Kazuchika Okada and Evil.
This would have been a better match if it was for something.
Right.
But
It was a
great match.
right. It was a little slow at first.
It was.
Obviously, Evil being Evil, and these two have great chemistry. They have
I could watch these guys wrestle 1,000 times against each other and never get sick of it.
right. I thought there was just a nice little amount of run-ins and a little dirty tactics, and Kazuchika Okada did win with a Rainmaker.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to try to make the Rainmaker more so of a last resort finisher. I'm not a gigantic fan of it personally.
I do like the interference. Who was it that interfered a lot?
Dick Togo.
So I can see a Dick Togo versus
Okada
match
right.
in the future. He's just that much of a chicken shit heel.
Right.
Doing dirty work on behalf of...
Right. Obviously, this rivalry is not over.
No, it is not.
But night number 1 was... It was all right.
It was all right.
Obviously, now this was a setup for night number 2, but before... Do you want to do night... Stars and best match.
We'll do that at the very end.
Okay.
So let's just go with night number 2, because night number 2 had 6 matches. We can get through them pretty quickly.
All right. So Tenkozy versus the United Empire, which is Ospreay and Jeff Cobb in this, and this match was really good.
It was.
Nice. Tenzan and Kojima, despite their age, can really pull off a great match when they're on, and they were on.
Oh, yeah.
Ospreay was on. Jeff Cobb is always on. Ospreay was much better.
He was. This was his night.
I mean, it was such a difference.
Yeah.
But it was a lariat on Jeff Cobb for Tenkozy to win, which I thought was actually surprising.
Which is interesting.
It was a great opener. It was a really fun match, and it really got me invested in the show.
You can see the rivalry develop between the Empire and
Tenkozy and
Tenkozy,
and I don't mind it whatsoever.
No, I don't
It's
mind
great.
that either. No.
So
it's a great rivalry for a brand new group to get involved in.
absolutely, nothing to where they're going to be dominated by like a Chaos or Bullet Club yet, but just where
Bullet Club were, like, way out of that.
right. And obviously the United Empire won the first night, so I think Tenkozy at least needed to win something for them to still be credible to a point. Chaos, Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Toru Yano versus Bullet Club's Jay White, Evil, and Chase Owens.
So who is the leader of Bullet Club at this point?
So as of right now, not only according to me, but according to Wikipedia, both Jay White and Evil are leaders of Bullet Club.
Okay.
Because of Jay White, because of his him being away because of COVID.
Right.
Evil had to be brought in, and he was with Goto.
Yep. And
so
he was also double champion for a while.
Right.
So that's interesting, but okay. So
it's something that we've seen before. It's nothing new. It was just like, okay, who's really leader? I think Evil is there as the leader, quotes, but I think Jay White is the actual leader.
He's the brains.
Right. He's the brains of the operation. He's still kind of the big main event guy. Even though Evil is in the main event, Jay White is just on a different level main event. Evil is like one of those lower card main events where you can put him in a title match, no problem, but Jay White is the big money maker. At least as of right now. So it was a money clip on Jay White for Jay White to actually tap out. I was surprised about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was Chaos who won. It was an okay-ish match.
It wasn't as good as the singles match.
No.
Between, of course.
No, not at all.
Good Lord.
Right, but you had everybody who was in a singles match last night and this night. It was all fine. It was just, a 6-man tag, whatever. A nice little palate cleanser from a great tag team match, too. Once again, a great tag team match.
Right.
For the IWGP Tag Team Champions. A great rivalry going into this as well.
Yeah.
The Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa versus Hirooki Goto and YOSHI-HASHI of Chaos.
These were 2 singles matches that are now one
tag team match. And where one person won one and the opposite team won another, and this match was unfucking cool. It was great.
It was a perfect match.
It was really good. I love Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa, don't get me wrong, and I guarantee you that if given the opportunity, they will be great singles stars, but as of right now, it's just weird seeing them in singles matches.
It is.
That's just really it. And
it's
I mean,
kind of like the Usos
right.
in many ways. It's still kind of weird to see them in singles matches, but
they're really good and they can hold their own, no problem. But it's like, okay, you're a tag team right now.
Right.
And I really like the team of Hirooki Goto and YOSHI-HASHI. I think they work really well together.
Yeah, they do.
They have a great arsenal of tag team moves.
This is definitely a rivalry that will continue going.
Oh yeah, they have great chemistry. All of them do. Mm-hmm. I thought there was a one point where Tanga Loa hit a powerbomb and YOSHI-HASHI, man, He is so underrated as a competitor.
He is.
He sold that power bomb, and actually we were like, "Oh my god, is he really knocked out? Is this how this match ended?" But no, he was fine. He just sold really well. But it was a stun gun for the Gorillas of Destiny to retain. So I think now they're tied for the most title defenses. So when they defend it again, they will be the team that has defended these champions more than any other.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Nice.
Anyway, to the next match. Hiroshi Tanahashi defending the never openweight champion against Great Okan.
I'm not, but well, okay, so here's what happened. So it was a roll-up pin for the win. So actually, I'm not disappointed, but at the same time, I am. Right,
Tanahashi did retain. The Great Okan looked so incredible in this match.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are really pushing him because they are having him work with Hiroshi, who is obviously one of the greatest wrestlers, at least in the last century.
Yeah.
The ace of New Japan, the John Cena, who's actually good.
Right.
And, really, really getting involved with, Great Okan is being as young as he is. He's 29,
right.
But, he just came back from excursion like a year and a half ago and going right through COVID, going into this. It's so different. He's such a different competitor. He doesn't look like any other wrestler. He has he comes out in a gimmick.
He has personality, right? He has a gimmick.
He comes out in a gimmick. He so stands out. And it's like, you see this guy, he's huge. He's a big man. He's doing really well. And, he's surrounded by really good people who obviously are backing him. So I'm so happy with this. It was a great match, a fantastic match. I just, I understand why they didn't give him the belt yet, but I still feel like this was time.
The way in which they ended that match, though, that roll-up pin was a really good way to end that.
Right.
So as to continue the rivalry without making him look bad.
Right, exactly. So for the vacant IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu had to give it away because of a left pectoral injury. He's going to be out for 6 months.
I was intrigued by this match.
Right. It is El Phantasmo, El Desperado, and Bushi. A very rare triple threat match.
You would think that the obvious person would have won.
Right. It
was El Desperado.
Yes, El Desperado got cradle pile driven on the ramp, and then his mask was taken off by Phantasmo.
Right.
And then basically it was like a singles match between the Phantasmo and Bushi for a while. Phantasmo came back in. He hit two pinche locos and won the junior heavyweight champion.
Yep.
This is his first singles title in New Japan.
Ooh.
And he has not gone for this champion since, I think, 8 years ago against Kota Ibushi.
Like that, right.
Same building. And he pinned Phantasmo for it.
So you can see a rivalry developing between Phantasmo and Desperado.
Right, so here is why I think they did this. Is that they obviously Hiromu was out for a while, and they really needed to build contenders to go for the junior heavyweight champion in a just-in-case situation.
Right.
You have Sho, you have Phantasmo, you have Bushi now.
Right.
You got to put in El Desperado now, and they're really starting to really build out this junior heavyweight division that was really crippled by not only a person like Kushida leaving, but then now Hiromu getting hurt again. Right. So it was a great match. It was a fantastic match. Everyone did great. Even Bushi looked good.
Yeah.
Everybody just looked so great, and I think El Desperado winning it was a good shock one. The only thing that I was confused about is why is El Desperado holding both junior heavyweight champions?
I have no idea.
I tried to look it up. There's no injury report for Yoshinobu at all, so I don't know why. But it was a really cool visual, seeing both tag team champions draped over Desperado, and then holding up the junior heavyweight champion. The one thing that Peanut Gallery mentioned was that the junior heavyweight champion is smaller physically than the tag team champions.
It is.
And I think this is the first time that I've seen these championships together, so I never really noticed.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on to the main event Kota Ibushi versus Naito 4.
Kota Ibushi, Tetsuya Naito. If we do that, it gets in the card. Anyway, for only the IWGP Intercontinental Champion.
Exactly.
This match, okay, once again,
can these two not have a bad match?
Right.
No, they have to have a good match, a great match, every single fucking time.
There were a couple spots that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. A couple had...
It was like a Destino 2
right.
where Naito was behind Ibushi. He flips on top of him, grabs his head, and does like a forward spike DDT. And Ibushi is so good at selling that his arms stuck out, and that's actually a thing. That's actually like a stiffening thing when you get knocked out, like out cold, knocked out. Your arms go stiff and they go down, and your legs do that. So at that point, I'm like, oh my god! I was like, oh Jesus, he's dead. There were a lot of those. I mean, goddamn, these two work so well together.
They even make near-death experiences look convincing.
Right, and it was such a great match.
Anyways, Kota Ibushi won
with a Kamagoye, and then El Desperado came out because
the anniversary show is tradition for the junior heavyweight champion to face the heavyweight champion
in a non-title match, but Desperado.
This one's for the titles.
Yes,
not just one, but it's for double gold.
It is for double gold. So the junior heavyweight, one half of the junior heavyweight champions, and the junior heavyweight tag team champions, and the junior heavyweight champion are facing the Intercontinental and the heavyweight champion for the Intercontinental and heavyweight champion. We might have to cover this show because that is a really big match.
There's going to be a lot of gold going into this match.
Oh, yes. And also they have history because El Desperado faced Kota Ibushi for the junior heavyweight champion in his first junior heavyweight championship opportunity
8 years ago.
At the
same arena.
Right, at the same arena. So there was a lot of working parts.
There's just a ton going into it. It's going to be a great match, and that is happening next week, right?
Yes, I think it's happening on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so
we're gonna now. This is a wait and see. I don't know the rest of the card, but we're not gonna watch a show unless it's like Sakura Genesis or whatever.
Right.
Unless the card is really stacked.
Right.
The only reason we did this one because both cards were really stacked.
Right. So, anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do star ratings for night 1.
Okay.
Match of the night for night 1. Star rating match of the night for night 2, and then star rating overall and match overall. So I will start with Tiger Height. What did you think about night number 1?
Night number 1 for me was a 2.5. Okay. I just thought some of the matches were a little, but anyway, this one is kind of hard because honestly, if you want my opinion, the match of the night, the one that kept me the most interested was the Provisional KOPW trophy match.
Okay.
It was the one that I was the most invested in. The story was great, and they really could have fucked up this match hardcore, but they didn't. And it was so fun. It was so creative, and it just made me happy.
I'm going to give you the same star rating, but my match of the night has to go to with Okada and Evil.
I know. It was really close, but I thought... The only thing that I kind of nicked Okada and Evil is that the start of the match was really slow.
It was.
And for a blood rivalry, I didn't think that they were gonna go so slow.
Right.
If it was gonna be a blood rivalry, if Okada was begging for this match, this one-on-one with Evil, why are you starting off with, a slow hold match? You should go right after Evil and start beating the crap out of him.
Exactly.
But it didn't happen. So that was the only reason why I gave this.
This fight. Night number 2.
I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
Okay.
Overall, and obviously I'm going to give this to the Intercontinental Championship match between Ibushi and Naito. Not only for the match itself, but the post-match Desperado and Ibushi, it just really added to that atmosphere of importance.
I'm going to do you on both of those, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Match of the night and star rating about that. So, overall, I assume that you're going to give it a 3.
Yep, I'm gonna. Yep,
3.5, so a 3.
Yep, it's gonna be a 3.
What's your match of the event?
Yes. So before I even give that, I'm gonna say that I hope they actually do add Castle Attack in the tour to it. If this was their first little test, they did a really good job at it.
Oh yeah.
And I am going to give the match of the entire both night. I'm going to give it to Ibushi and Naito for the same reasons.
I'm going to do the same. All right. So, what are we going to discuss next week?
So
because we're at the end of the show, unfortunately.
Yes. So next week, obviously, we might be doing the 49th anniversary show.
We are definitely going to be doing another event, which is also known as Revolution.
Yes, which was actually supposed to happen this Saturday, but obviously they had to change it.
Right.
So, thank you all for listening. If you did enjoy it, remember to follow our channel, share it with your friends and family and your dog.
Like and subscribe because
if you have a cat, fuck you.
I am planning on doing a lot more content on my Twitter and on my Instagram.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool.
With
all right.
plans.
All right, great. So we'll have all those links down below. It's going to be in a flow page so you can click on all of them and follow all of them. Super easy. And as always, be
majestic.